There we go. That fancy transition of ours. Oh, that's some good stuff right there. Shout out to Brennan over there. No. All right, here we are, though. Again, in game number 1, Lion versus Team Afraid. As you can see, the blind bands. Actually, I did happen to catch that. So, Moon Queen Artillery coming out here from Lion. Parasite Ophelia coming out from Afraid. So, how about that respect, man? Artillery, blind band.
Everyone has been banning Artillery from Afraid for 2 reasons. A, they play it extremely well, but B, they want to see if they're more than a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
We saw before with the Chipper and Fade, once they started getting banned from, well, OTP, one-trick pony, their team seemed to crumble, and that seemed to be their go-to. Afraid, meanwhile, has shown that they have the capacity to play other lineups, but still, I have not seen them shine like they do when they run that Artillery. They just seem like they're in a different world.
Yeah, it's the artillery heroes, no doubt, been their go-to. So it is going to be interesting now to see, teams obviously picking up on that as they should. And again, a lot of that first series of the Afraid versus Lion in the first round that we talked about had to do with that artillery. So Lion's not going to let that screw them up at least. This time around, the Moon Queen Artillery, Parasite Ophelia again from Team Afraid. The locking phase, we're well into that. We got a Luna the first lock, Master of Arms Electrician going to be followed, and then good old Wretched Hag Bubbles on top of that to finish off from Lions. Now Jolem here, going to wait for his final lock coming up. But it's funny to see the Master of Arms and Electrician. When we started to first see Master of Arms actually coming as the carry with Stay Green, Slicks was playing it.
Yes.
We saw them pick it up with Electrician for whatever reason. Don't even really know why to this day, but we see those 2 heroes locked up there.
They'd have 2 purges. They'd wind up going Nullfire a lot on Master of Arms. They'd have 2 purges. A lot of times going against Keeper of the Forest. They'd be running Ophelia, so Electrician combined with Ophelia combined with Master would just be an absurdly tanky mess. 2 purges allowed them to have tons of utility and canceling Hellflowers off of each other. Providing nice counter initiation and just with the early play, Electrician with an early farm. A lot of times you just don't have the damage to deal with him, and especially not with those heals. So that's a lot of why they actually wound up doing that.
Yeah, okay, that actually that definitely makes some sense there when it comes down to it. But again, so both of those locked up here, whether or not they'll even be played or played together, we'll have to wait and see. But Tempest, the final lock, of course, a strong way to finish off there. Look who passed up the locking stage, actually. Keeper of the Forest ends up getting banned in the later on. So Deadwood, Keeper of the Forest, Tundra, Hammerstorm, and Fade. But yeah, not often you see Keeper of the Forest making it past the blind bands and then the lock picking stage. Or lock pool stage.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's always interesting to see when Tempest is the only jungler actually in that lock pool as well. A couple times you see him passed up in favor of stronger lanes. With 2 teams like this, I'm sort of curious to see what they do. Lion is a team that, they've run Tempest before. I've seen Hanskin run it a number of times. Not exactly a team that would be afraid to pass it up, though.
Yeah, afraid. Go figure. Anyways, picking stage. Here we are. The first pick going to be coming out. Oh, yeah, Wild Soul. Another example. Hell. It's a final band there coming out from, I almost said Pikachu, but Afraid over here. Rally going to be the first pick coming out. Very quick response, and Pebbles Engineer coming out, though, from Team Afraid. So it's almost as if they saw that Rally pick coming.
Yeah. And I actually like the Pebbles NG picks a lot here. It's going to provide for a lot of early aggression, a lot of strong laning, especially the Engineer. And Rally's strong, but I like Rally. Especially in combination when he plays sort of that Magnus role and he's like the follow-up initiator on top of a Deadwood or a Pebbles or something like that where, you have your main hero jump in, get that burst skill, and then he provides the support. If he needs to push his hero back with that free tablet he has, that's great. If he needs to follow up and get a kill, that's great. Otherwise, I do like to see him with other line stuns or another strength stunner as well, like Hammerstorm, who's actually banned out this game.
Yeah. Yeah, not going to see the Hammerstorm, who we've been seeing a lot of lately as far as that carry role goes even. As you mentioned, banned here. So back over to Lion Esports Club. The Rally, the first pick. How are they going to follow that up now? You look at the options on the board. Well, there's, as always, plenty. They could go the support route here. Maybe something like that Glacius or even Amphora. Luna, of course, being locked up, though, so maybe want to even wait for that. But then there's the carry option. You talked about Silhouette with Absolute Legend. She is on the board, but a lot of teams haven't really been running her lately outside of them. Soul Reaper and Amphora apparently going to be the combination coming out here. How about that?
Yeah, I talked about liking Rally with other line stuns. Amphora definitely provides that. As long as they get another point stunner here out of this lock pool, I think they'll have a pretty nice lineup. It goes along more with the idea of a mid-game carry here. Curious to see if they'll be strong enough to actually sort of withstand the initiation of Afraid, though. If so, they have a lot of turnaround potential.
Yeah. Yeah, the Soul Reaper pickup, again, kind of a niche hero, it seems like, here on the competitive scene. Tempest is going to be the first pickup. of that lock pool. Andromeda was the final pick, by the way, from Team Afraid. But yeah, Tempest, not much thought to put into that by Handskin. Really valued that Tempest highly there. As you mentioned earlier from the beginning, I mean, the only jungler in that pool. Master of Arms Bubbles going to be coming out from Afraid, though, so now Lions can finish off with one of those three. But
Wretched Hag is their usual flavor of carry, so to speak, but they have a Soul Reaper in this game, so... I talked about getting Electrician with other Strength Stunners. I mean, you could technically see a Rally solo, a Soul Reaper solo, and maybe an Electrum for it. It is a bit weird, but they could probably get away with it. Otherwise, I'd expect to see that Wretched Hag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they are going to go the Wretched Hag in the end, so it's just, you mentioned, I mean, they especially like to run the hero, so as a lot do, frankly. But Krepson is going to be playing the Wretched Hag here. It looks like they're all ready to go, just waiting for Team Afraid now to fully ready up, and then we're going to be jumping into game number 1 here. So the debut for Emperor in the studio. We got the cycle number 7 this weekend. Going to be wrapping up officially. Let me tell you, I mean, there's a lot on the line. There really is, as far as the standings and everything. It's something we didn't even really talk about in the podcast. Really, I kind of wanted to mention, but the big thing about this too is really with the standings. How Trademark currently is number 1 and Stay Green's number 2, just behind them. If Stay Green, I believe it's if Stay Green finishes either first or second. Here in this cycle, and they're guaranteed at least top 3, so obviously in a good spot for that, then they're going to overtake the first place spot going into the final cycle.
Well, they'll actually be first place going into cycle 8,
yeah.
not even needing...
I know,
what?
Right?
Everyone, I think even Trademark Esports said that they were locked into getting first.
Nope.
I mean, they did lock into Vegas, but
yeah,
damn, that is unexpected.
Definitely not locked into first place. And Stay Green, I mean, obviously when you have a result, though, as they did this week in Trademark, finishing 7th, 8th place, I mean, their worst finish yet. That's going to hurt. So Stay Green definitely could take advantage now to finish off cycle number 7.
Wow, and they're already looking like they're in a pretty good spot to do that, being in the winners bracket finals.
Exactly, and that's just one of many changes that could possibly. I mean, obviously then there's the Q squad situation with them getting dropped on a gold. I mean, there's quite a bit happening. So we do see, as far as this game is concerned, though, off the bat, you look at the Flying Courier, kind of scouting things out and even baiting somewhat a little bit on Team Afraid, but.
Yeah, 2 Flying Couriers this game. You've seen a lot of times lately no Couriers at all, no Flying Couriers for either team. Especially you see, I think Complexity does that a lot. I'm not sure about the other teams, but they favor pulled regen instead sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, actually. We've seen that a lot with the top tier teams. I mean, just pulling the regen seems to be more of the idea rather than getting that Courier up. But they aren't able to get the Ward of Sight off as a result of that, at least in the block spot. Granted, they did place one down here at their for the rune spot at the bottom lane. Do they have another ward? They do not, actually.
No.
Unless I'm missing it. Okay, so it was only the one ward here coming out from Lion, where Team Afraid, they were able to get both. They got the rune spot and as well as the pull block, so maybe work out a little bit better to their advantage. But
yeah, definitely. They actually, well, yeah, Engineer is, as you see, he's with having no jungler running that dual lane setup, not blocking the pull there is pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going to be able to take advantage against, what is that, a Suicide Wretched Hag up here. So I'm sure that'll be a difficult time for Hag as well as a good time for Pebbles. And again, playing this Pebbles, as we always say, you know, look back to Pebbles, getting that free farm. Never want to let happen usually, but in some cases it's going to be that way, especially with the setup. So now our middle matchup, though, as usual, it's could be pretty entertaining here. We got an M4 Rally versus an Andromeda Master of Arms. I mean, definitely this Master of Arms Andromeda combination. You could talk about the minus armor possibilities even earlier on between the Aurora and the Goo. Yeah. They can actually combo pretty well with that, I'm sure. So.
Well, we've also seen their capacity for completing the Ancients. Master of Arms alone, just with that the acid goo that he lays down, does wonders. When you see an Andromeda maybe even prioritizing that Aurora, they will fall fast. Remember the Master of Arms Panda combination with that minus armor, how much it was capable of. A little bit different here with Master of Arms being the point hero in the lane, but still.
Similar concept, for sure. But again, at the same time, you do have a Rally with that Compel. It can be used very defensively if need be. So that's where it could be a little bit difficult. But definitely expecting at least a good amount of harassment there in the middle lane, maybe even a Bloodlust kill, perhaps. Then you have the bottom matchup, Soul Reaper versus Bubbles. And I think it's safe to say Flensmeister here playing the Soul Reaper. He should have a pretty good time.
Yeah, Bubbles. Well, actually, Bubbles right now doing okay in creep kills. As Soul Reaper levels up here, has the higher level, I believe it's Judgment, right? Yeah, Judgment ability.
Yeah.
that is going to make his life a living hell. And you see right now, Soul Reaper's obviously winning that harass roar by a ton, and has a point in his Withering Presence, slowly ticking away Bubbles' health.
Yeah, that's kind of, again, the big thing we see in these solo matchups, especially with the Soul Reaper. Whenever we do, you at least get the one level in that Withering Presence, and it's just constant harassment, really. Now, of course, he hits level 4 and he gets the Inhuman Nature there, but the one level alone in a Withering Presence, kind of one of those 1-point wonders, as we like to call them here on HoNcast. So. Then the last thing to kind of talk about is, of course, Handskin here on Tempest. The jungle factor is in favor of Lion Esports Club here, so definitely expect the experience gain to maybe be a little bit skewed in their favor because of that. And it is slightly right now. Of course, we are still very early on, only about 3 minutes into the game. But for right now, I mean, it's just a pretty solid game overall. Nothing too crazy going on. Just everyone staying in their lanes and kind of going about it. No adjustments made right off the bat. So. People just having a good time with where they're at for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, this Pebbles, man, he is going to take off. There's pretty much nothing they can do about it. No real secret ganks they can run either. I mean, I expect him to just... I'm looking at that 10-minute portal key Steam Boots pretty damn easily. And it's going to be a problem they have to solve. I mean, they do have a team that can react pretty well. Soul Reaper, if a fight is sustained, puts out a ton of damage. Rally has that defensive ability, but still, Pebbles with that early of a PK, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do guys, in a sense, kind of double heal potential, depending on how Nymphoria decides to build here early on. But at the same time, it's not that global presence like it would be with a Master of Arms and Ophelia, of course. So Pebbles catches them without one of those heroes nearby. They could definitely get that easy kill. So keep a close eye on Pebbles' success here. How he decides to build up necessarily on top of when he gets that portal key. 4-minute rune coming up here. Looks like the top rune as well as the bottom. It is going to spawn bottom, it looks like, so that means Tempest and Bubbles are there. Bubbles actually bottles it up with the haste rune, so he's going the side lane bottom, and it ends up paying off right there for him. Picking up the haste rune. Soul Reaper, again, still winning this lane, definitely. 22-2 now against a 14-1, but Bubbles maybe can make use of this haste rune here.
Yeah, probably maybe even run a gank or something if they get the right angle. I would like to see, and I talk about this a lot, but I would like to see if Tempest can sort of sneak middle. A lot of times, I think you can even do it before level 6. We saw right there how low Master got, but even from the front of the lane, if Rally stuns, starts getting the body block in, and Ford does the follow-up stun, you can just reach him, walk right up, and get your Glacial Blast off with Tempest, get a free Bloodlust kill in middle.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just don't see it enough. I feel like people in the jungle don't like to get active before level 6. Maybe they just don't like the risk. I always like to get down and dirty from level 2, level 3. I mean, still, I think it's always good to secure that bloodlust. Still, even without it, they are winning the gold war. They are winning the experience war. Feeling quite content.
Yeah, I think it's a big risk for a lot of junglers' minds. Where if you do go there, you don't end up getting a kill out of it. You've lost a lot of farm time there, and it's just that idea that why take the risk, I guess. But
maybe you push the enemy heroes back because they know you're there.
Oh, middle lane, a lot of action to take place. I'll show him in a lot of trouble. Master of Arms, he's going to be dropping right here. Wretched Hag even joining the party. He will end up falling. Andromeda able to get away in time. Tempest was running in. You could tell he wanted to maybe ultimate right there, but just couldn't get close enough to Andromeda. But nonetheless, Lion Esports Club, they eventually do collapse right there. And Seal Kid actually playing the Nymphoria gets credit for the Bloodlust kill. So.
Yeah, well, they got that Bloodlust, and everyone got assist gold for it. Turned out quite handsomely for them. Engineer.
Actually, yeah, some more action now picking up. Andromeda again gonna fall. Well, not her again, but she will actually go down there. So, Wretched Hag, how about that? Not being able to do too much here at the top lane, but making use of the hero. We see this a lot from Zai playing a Wretched Hag in the suicide role.
Well, I think that was one of the trademark points of Wretched Hag becoming a more viable suicide again, when people realize, okay, if they can get level 3, even level 4, and then they roam to the middle lane, it is an excellent gank hero, lots of mobility there, and a lot of times you just need that extra little bit of damage. Once people started doing that more again, we saw Wretched Hag picked up more as a suicide, because in her lane matchup, she's usually just absolutely awful.
Yeah.
She'll normally get bodied entirely, but, being able to roam around, set up those ganks, and, just a quick level 2 haunt sometimes, or Sonar Scream, and you're good to go.
As we're seeing here, yeah, perfect example coming out from Krepson, playing that Wretched Hag. So, speaking of Krepson, though, hopefully this isn't the curse for his sake. Engineer coming up here, he's going to blink away in time, and looks like Hag will be fine, as we are going into a pause right here. But I was going to say, you look at the gold per minute chart, just the overall story of this game and how it's going right now. You do have a case of, right now, Lion Esports Club. Overall, it seems like things are going pretty good for them in the 2,000 golden experience lead. But you do have that Pebbles, who is up there in the gold per minute chart right now, leading the way, 360 gold per minute. He does already have a Steam Boots, another nearly 1,000 gold saved up here. So That's, again, kind of that key factor. And Bubbles is now level 6 as well. He does have an Invis rune bottled up, so I'm kind of wondering if we can expect to see Bubbles here get a little bit more active. You know, he does have the TP on him now, so either it's a counter initiation or him looking to set up a gank somewhere. Very possible at this point.
Yeah, level 6 with an Invis rune. I'd like to see him roam mid really quickly. Actually, the problem with Rally's Compel, it can really screw over a gank, so he doesn't want to sort of take that risk. And right now they scout that the Invis rune there. He needs to wait for this bottom lane to push out a little bit. Maybe right here is going to be his timing to go. He'd have to go right now, though. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah, so he's still going to stick down there at the bottom lane. But you see Wretched Hag in the meantime. Again, there is some double stack Ancients here, so they were able to at least stack up once for now. But she's still roaming around quite a bit. She's now finding herself in the middle lane. But, oh yeah, bottom lane. Tempest coming in. There's the Demonic Execution actually used right off the bat, setting up the Tempest ultimate. And Panny will fall. He gets the Invis off, but it doesn't matter. How about that? I mean, using the Soul Reaper ultimate to set up a Tempest ulti. That was interesting, but it worked out right there.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm always a fan of using those early game ultimates, no matter the situation, to get clean pickoffs. Killing a hero in that off lane opens you up to an easy tower push, especially with a Soul Reaper and a Tempest. I mean, come on, two great pushers in their own right. And,
yeah.
They're going to apply a lot of pressure here, and it's worth it, because right now they're forced to either lose a tower or react, waste time teleporting down here, and they're already underleveled to begin with.
Yeah, they're going to lose this tower. There's no way they're defending it. Pebbles, obviously, he's having too good of a time here at the top lane to be distracted by that. I mean, Bubbles is here, but unless he gets a nice deny off, which could be possible. You see the invulnerability going off right there. Soul Reaper and Tempest trying to position themselves. The Elemental's despawning. He's able to spawn some more right there. It's going to be close. Bubbles, no, not going to be enough. Handskin gets credit for the kill, and the Goldie now growing that much more for Lion Esports Club, up to 4,000. The top tower, however, it's all the invulnerability at the last second. That's going to be the difference maker. They're definitely going to be able to deny this now if they play this correctly. Well played right there by Lions on the timing. And they actually will deny the tower. So that would have been a portal queue right there for Pebbles if he was able to get that tower, but we'll need to be a little bit longer now.
Yeah. Still on track, still on track. It honestly is their sort of light at the end of the tunnel out of this early game, because right now Lion is actually playing this really masterfully. Really played it well. And Amphora almost level 6 as well. Sometimes we see with an Amphora, she isn't lane quite as well, a lot of people feel, compared to like an Luna, say, in middle lane. Getting out of that laning phase and being ahead like this can be very, very strong, because as you know, once an Amphora gets that ultimate, it just contributes to sort of your resource gold advantage. Even when you're not there, people always have to be aware of the fact that you can come gank them.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Bubbles, I mean, I'm still a little bit, you know, you would like to see the movement, obviously. Again, Bubbles just really, really good at that. And obviously with the way this lane was going and has been going, you know, you figure maybe trying to go somewhere. But at the same time, you know, you need to get that instance to set up for you. So it's not like you can force it by any means. But definitely could take advantage here on the Hellborn team, because, again, it's Pebbles and it drops off tremendously after that. I mean, Master of Arms, Jolem here, not able to get anything, really. Only 190 gold per minute. He's been having a struggling time. Obviously, he's sitting on the one death, which was the Bloodlust kill, but he's being boxed out pretty well now. Andromeda's actually being chased down. Tempest chasing, and the Glacial Blast coming out. He puts the Comet Stun there, but a Compel from Rally, and then auto attacks later. Seal Kid actually, again, getting credit for a kill right there. So already now a 4-0 hero kill start here for Lion Esports Club. That's, you know, again, not good news for Afraid. And actually, so yeah, Pebbles going the power supply route, still not having the portal key just yet, but it's still early on, but you kind of see that window, you know, closing a little bit here for Team Afraid already. You
do, and that's part of the problem when you have a dual lane setup and you lose your lanes. They lost 2 out of 3 lanes. Actually, yeah, they lost 2 out of 3 lanes. Obviously, the Pebbles lane succeed with flying colors, sort of, but to be honest, Wretched Hag managed to get her experience. She got level 4. When you have a support hero like that, you like to normally see try to keep the Suicide under-leveled. She still got her experience, and she's not level 6 quite yet, but honestly, losing 2 out of 3 lanes and the enemy team having a jungler does not sound success at all.
Yeah, it's, not a good start whatsoever, and it just goes more and more back to this Pebbles right here. And now he is going to not only have an immediate impact once he gets that portal key, but it's going to need to start that snowball effect pretty well, because now we did talk about this, even more so mentioned the Master of Arms Andromeda, how they can clean up Ancients pretty well, especially with that turret on top of that even. So they're going to try to take advantage of that right here, and they got some triple stack Ancients to at least spread some farm out. So that should be something good for them at least. As Rally's charging here at the bottom lane with the haste rune. We'll see if he can make something. Probably not. And actually another pause coming out here. I'm afraid, but Pebbles 2,200 gold, so he does have enough for the portal key now. Apparently he's having some internet issues. Yeah, so we're gonna see that portal key purchase here. Then we'll see where he goes from there as far as being able to make use of that. So, but for now, it does seem like Lion Esports Club, they are no doubt in control. And I'm trying to think back on the podcast. We're actually predicting, of course, who we thought would win in these matchups, as we usually do. Going into the later part of the cycles, and I believe I did take Team Afraid actually in this series over Lion Esports Club with Afraid not only defeating them early in the tournament, but again their success lately. But Lions is looking very good off the bat here against them. So
yeah, I feel like they've regained a little bit of their groove that they seemed like they lost a bit over the past couple of weeks. I mean, they said themselves they weren't practicing as much, but they were going to get it back. They seem like they're playing with a lot more fire right now again.
Yeah. I know this is a team, too, that I believe they play at a LAN center. At least the majority of them, if not all of them, together. So obviously that's kind of a cool environment to be in, and like Stay Green has proven that works out very well.
3 of them, I think it's I don't want to name names, so I'm just gonna say Seal Kid, Krebson, and Super KG, and I might be wrong here. So
I don't want to name names, but I'm gonna name these 3 names. And
I believe they're moving in together.
Okay.
So it won't be a whole 5-man gaming house, and they might already be ready. I don't know, but I believe they're moving in together. So we'll have a
interesting
pseudo gaming house there.
Yeah.
And
again, it's hey, if it works out, I mean, if you can make it happen, why the hell not, right? It's definitely can be a lot of fun. So again, it's definitely worked for Stay Green so far, to say the least. So
well, yeah, I mean, I've talked to the players individually a little bit too, and they just think it's great. Just great. They'll watch the games together.
Stay Green guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll watch all those games. You saw before they watch all the games on a projector together, look at replays together, talk about strategies together. So it just helps build your team to be a more cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Of course, there was always the pressure going into it. They sort of have to succeed at that point, because if they moved into a gaming house together and then they were placed in 8th place regularly or something like that, people would be, just tearing them up.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. Well, that is the pressure factor, and that was my biggest concern for them going into it, because again, this was a new team with Stay Green. I kind of get sidetracked here, but we're gonna pause, so whatever. But with Stay Green, it was a new team, especially with just picking up Chessie. I mean, they picked up Chessie just before they moved into the new gaming house, so you're putting a lot of bank basically on making this work, and you haven't even been playing with that 5-man roster for the longest time. So.
Yeah. Oh.
It's paid off, though.
Yeah,
took the risk.
Chessie seems like a pretty likable guy, and his skills were already spoken for.
That's true.
So proved to be a pretty easy transition, at least for them.
It seems like it. So again, and as we were just mentioning earlier, I mean, Stay Green is in prime spot to take over the first place seed going into cycle number 8. And if that happens, I mean, that's important, because sure, in the end, both Trademark and Stay Green, they're going to Vegas. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's wrapped up at this point.
Yeah.
We've done the math. I'm pretty sure it is.
It would be incredibly... No, it is. It is.
Yeah, there's no way. They are going to Vegas, and I'm pretty sure, again, it's also number 1 and 2 seeds locked up. But which one's first and which one's second is a big deal, because when you think about it, obviously it'll be the first versus the 4th place team in Vegas, and then second versus 3rd. So if that's the case, you got your first place team. In this case, it looks like it might be Stay Green. They're basically playing to see who won't have to play Complexity in the first round.
True.
At Vegas. True. And that's a pretty big deal. So, he swapped internet or something. They're talking about
swap IP.
Yeah. He totally just... Oh, man.
Telegrease.
No, do you realize what happened?
No, what happened?
He got disconnected from the game. He's no longer in the game. Oh,
holy
my gosh.
Crap. What? Wait, how does that happen?
Oh, jeez. Well, I guess if you switch IPs like that, you try to log back in, that's what happens. So, well, that's game 1. That's game 1, just like that. Okay, I think it's officially over. I mean, oh, well, back to us.
What?
Yeah.
Is this... I mean, they were looking
good,
but
it looks
that
like
really sucks.
There's no actually Concevo just yet, but... yeah, I mean, Lions was in a good spot, but we're 10 minutes into the game, 10.5 minutes in, so there's still plenty of game left. That does suck, but...
I don't even... I've tried to like switch computers before and log in, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't let you log in. I've never seen the termination like that.
Well,
That is,
I know we have that issue at DreamHack. There was the one issue where one of the players, I forget which teams it was, but there was one player that logged in like and was playing like a TMM game on somebody's account because he left it open on one of the public computers.
Tail, I believe. Or maybe
Yeah, it was
think
Tail.
Tail.
That's right. Yeah, and he actually got disconnected from the game like that. So I guess that's what happens, and there you go. So, well, that's kind of an anticlimactic finish right there. Welcome to the studio, Emperor.
Oh, thank you.
Way to kick off, right?
God.
Okay, well, we're gonna get things figured out here. Let's settle things down here.
Sure.
I mean, unless you have anything you wanted to say.
No, I mean, I think that game speaks for itself pretty clearly. Just see what they bust out in game 2. I think Afraid is gonna try a new strategy, and they'll have their first pick advantage, so to speak.
Yeah. You know, again, in the end, maybe that was a case of Team Afraid. Again, they were behind. They did have a farm Pebbles though. Who was just about to get his portal key. I mean. You never know what can happen.
Pebbles not going to carry you through a 4v5. I mean,
no.
can he drop, man? That was their bubbles, wasn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, with him dropping, yeah, of course. No, I meant I was talking about before he even dropped.
Yeah, no, for sure. Before he dropped, yeah, sure.
Still chances. But anyways, okay. Team Lion Esports Club won. So, yeah, Lion Esports Club takes game number 1. That's probably the most oddest victory I've ever seen. I mean, pre-15-minute victory. That was, again, like a 10-minute victory right there. Coming out between the two teams, but so we are going to be going to a break here very shortly, and again we'll get things figured out, see what's happening. I'm sure it's just a matter. I'm sure Penny will be right back. It seems like he's just changing his internet, or whatever. But obviously you can't do that in between game or during the game at least. So
apparently not. So
who would have
thought?
We saw the results, so there you go. Again, we're still just on to make sure the producer's ready, but. There is the other match going on. Let me just take a quick look at that to see how that one's actually going real quickly. I had to chat disconnect actually, so if you can
we're looking at
monitor complexity. Team excellent.
Okay, game 1 is.
They haven't even started yet.
They have not even game 1.
They're probably in the picking stage. It looks like
hero select. Yeah, you're right. Unfortunate. Okay.
So they're just at the hero select right now. So they're just getting started. And we're just getting started, really. Even though our game 1 is technically finished, we are just getting started. So not only do we have the rest of this series, but then, of course, we got the winner's bracket finals of Absolute Legends versus Stay Green later on. And that is going to be a lot of fun. So, okay, it looks like I got the thumbs up. There we go. I think we're good now. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, though. Game number 2, Lions versus Team Afraid, coming up next, guys.